everything new on this on here. When the economy really gets bad, people are going to start dumping U.S. Treasury notes. They're going to be all the U.S. dollars are going to be coming back to the U.S. People are going to be getting rid of them because they won't be worth anything. And if anybody's smart, they will be getting rid of U.S. notes, Treasury notes, right now, knowing that they will not be worth anything in the near future because it's a fiat currency, and no fiat currencies survive ever. Some live longer, some live shorter, but no fiat currency in the history of the world has ever survived. What always survives is gold and silver for payment methods, for money. And so what we see here is, this is from BusinessInsider.com, and foreigners are dumping U.S. Treasuries. People are starting to get rid of it, and it's China is doing a huge amount to dump their U.S. Treasuries because they know that the U.S. Treasuries is not worth anything. So they want to get rid of it slowly, but surely. They don't want to get rid of it too fast because you could cause a panic in the market. So they want to get rid of it slowly and buy, both prop up their own currency and buy gold. They're doing that. Many nations are stockpiling gold. So you've got to get rid of your U.S. Treasury holdings slowly so that the world doesn't panic and see what you're doing, notice what you're doing. But you got to get rid of it fast enough that you get rid of it all before, or as much of it as you can, before the U.S. dollar is completely worthless as a fiat currency. And then you'll just have to burn it or whatever. Foreigners are dumping U.S. Treasuries. All kinds of things are happening now in the world of bonds that haven't happened before. For example, authorities in China today halted trading for the first time ever in futures contracts of government bonds. After prices had swooned with 10-year yield hitting 3.4, trading didn't resume until the People's Bank of China injected $22 billion in short-term money market. What does this turmoil have to do with U.S. Treasuries? China has been dumping them to stave off problems in its own house. So it's collapsing, it's insolvent, so it's using U.S. Treasuries to prop itself up. It's selling U.S. Treasuries, basically. And what's that going to lead to? That's going to lead to a lower value of Treasury notes because there's going to be a big flood of them coming back. So there's going to be hyperinflation because there's going to be a whole lot more dollars chasing the same products. So you're going to have those products selling for more dollars because those dollars aren't worth as much because people are willing to throw more dollars at the same product if they want to get it. U.S. Treasury Department releases Treasury International Capital data for October. And what it said about the dynamics of the Treasury securities is a doozy of historic proportions. In September, these foreign entities had already dumped a record $76.6 billion. They have now dumped Treasury paper for 7 months in a row. They've sold U.S. Treasury notes for a 7th month in a row. So you see these negatives are the selling of it. Now, of course, someone's buying it. There's someone always on the other side of the trade. But the point is most countries are selling it. The 12-month selling spree in this magnitude has never occurred before. There have been a few months of timid net selling in 2012, and some in 2013, and a few in 2014, but no big deal because the Fed was buying it under its quantitative easing programs, buying back its own currency. But then with QE tapered out of the way, the selling picked up in 2015 and has sharply accelerated in 2016. So this chart, if I could get to it here. This chart, going back to the early 80s, so 88 right here, 95 right here, 2002 right here, 2009, and 2016 where we are. Going back to the early 1980s shows just how historic this wholesale dumping, circle in red, of Treasury bonds and notes by foreign entities have been. It goes on. This chart is particularly telling. It shows in brutal clarity that foreign buyers funded the $1 trillion and over annual deficits during and after the financial crisis, with net purchases in several months exceeding $100 billion. The other big buyer was the Fed. So the Fed's buying up its own Treasury notes to prop it up, basically, to make it look like it's not losing a bunch of value. At this yield, Treasuries found buyers today, but the remaining buyers, now that the biggest holders have turned into sellers, may demand even higher yields in the future. So the big sellers have sold, and any buyers now, any people who are looking to buy it, are going to be looking for bigger yields because they know it's a risky bet. Since everybody's selling, There's not going to be a lot of buyers out there who are willing to take that bet because everybody's selling. So they're going to be looking for larger yields, and so they're going to do more risky trades that way. This comes on top of a lot of new supply over the last 24 months. The U.S. gross national debt has ballooned at 1.85 trillion, or about 925 billion per 12-month period. Soon, the U.S. gross national debt will hit 20 trillion, and so it's going to hit 20 trillion before Trump gets into office. And given President Trump's ambitious deficit spending and tax cut programs, a lot more debt may soon wash over the market. But this time, neither China nor Japan, nor any major foreign entities, will be willing and able to bail out the U.S. So people are getting sick and tired of the money printing, that the only nation in the world that can print fiat money out of thin air. They're getting sick of it. And the U.S. dollar controls the world reserve currency right now. And so they have license to fire up their money printers and print off as much cash as they want. Other nations can't do a lot about it unless they are willing to crash the economic system. Most don't want to do that, so they're playing along for the time being. But you know that they're getting ready for a time when the U.S. fiat dollar is no longer. But this time, neither China nor Japan may be willing or able to bail the U.S. As they did during the financial crisis. The bond market sees this too, hence the bloodletting in Treasuries, considered among the most conservative investments in the world, because the U.S. dollar was the safe haven. When in times of trouble, people go to the U.S. dollar as a safe haven, because everybody around the world generally found it valuable because they had to buy oil and gas with it, the petrodollar. They don't have to do that anymore. Like I say, every fiat currency dies. There's no fiat currency that has ever survived more than, but I think the average is 40 years or something like that. In the U.S. The U.S. Fiat dollar has been going for over that now. It's in overtime, and so it's time for it to be switched out, at least for a new fiat currency, which will probably be a cryptocurrency. And so that's coming soon. And so it's telling again that foreigners are dumping it like mad, getting rid of U.S. Treasury notes before they're completely worthless. It's like living in Venezuela. If you knew that the government was going to start, or India, if you knew that the government was going to go cashless, you'd get rid of all your banknotes that you had stored up under your pillow. You'd get rid of all your cash, and you'd buy assets with it. If you knew the government was going to try and go cashless, you'd get rid of your cash before that cash was worthless. If you get caught during it, well, that's when hyperinflation happens, and each dollar is not worth the same as it used to be. And then you're left holding a lot less than you originally had. So if you want to get ahead of the game, you start selling your cash. That's what China, Japan, that's what all the foreigners are doing effectively. And the U.S. Federal Reserve is buying up its own cash to make it look like it's not so bad. But you can still see the foreign countries selling it like crazy, trying to get their money out of it now before it completely crashes. So I will leave it there. So it's significant. How much longer? Who knows? But it's the time is coming quickly for the economy to absolutely crash, and for us to switch over to a new world order, a one world economic system, a cashless society, and then who knows how far, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road, mark of the beast system. I think that's the inevitable direction of it, and the Bible says that's going to happen. So we're definitely moving in that direction. I don't think anybody can say that we're not moving in that direction. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.